I do see that many of our guests have already joined us. Namaste, all of you. Balaji, namaste, Asmika ji, Amartya ji, Chandrakanta ji, Shana ji, Diksha, Vinika ji, Priya ji, Guru ji. It's nice to see all of you join here and on time. Holly ji, Jitendra Shah ji, John Melman. I have Kishore ji join us. Madhav ji, Madhuri ji, Nalini ji, Visipati, Prasada Rao, Rashmi ji, Rasik ji, Sarvajit ji, Sunil ji, Swati Dubey ji, and Vinay Bagari ji. Welcome all of you. And it's we have 2 more minutes to begin the webinar. So let us just wait for a few more participants to join us, and then we can begin with the webinar. Namaste, Panchman Ganeshan ji. I see your hand raised. Panchman Ganeshan ji, I see your hand raised. Do you have any question? Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, I just wanted, so you have already found out my name. I was just wondering, how do I give my name that I am attending? So you take it from the email ID or? Oh, thank you.
Sorry, your voice was not clear. Could you please repeat?
Thank you. Yeah, you have already read my name. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. In case, I've missed reading anybody's name, I'm sorry, but welcome to all of you. I see that Kalika ji has already joined us. And Namaste, Kalika ji. So let me quickly introduce you to our guest today, all the participants. Dr. Kalika Utarkar has been with HUA for almost, I think, 2.5 years now, Kalika ji?
Yes, yes.
2.5 years. And she has her PhD degree from University of Pune and in philosophy. And she has over 25 years of experience in teaching philosophy, and she also conducts life skill corporate training and workshops for yoga and mental health. She's currently based in Dallas, and she works as a yoga and psychological counselor and also a motivational speaker. And she has YouTube channel, and wherein I think she posts relationship YouTube's videos on mental health, on self-help, right, Kalika ji?
Yes.
I'm not wrong.
Yes.
And if they would want, we can share your YouTube channel link also with them. If in case anybody is interested, you can let us know. And just to let you all know, today's webinar, which is Introduction to Upanishads, is one of the most liked courses at HUA. as is Kalika ji, one of the most loved teachers at HUA.
Thank you.
So, without adding anything else, I will hand it over to you, Kalika ji, to begin the webinar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Why don't you please introduce yourself also?
I've already introduced myself, Kalika ji. So,
Okay. That's great. Maybe I join later. Okay, so first of all, I'm really sorry because I'm having a very bad throat today. So you might
in
have.
case you need me to pitch in somewhere to read something from the website or anything, just let me
Yeah,
know. I'll do that to you.
sure. Yes. So, welcome everybody to the webinar, and thank you so much for that kind introduction. And this course, Introduction to Upanishads, is one of my favorite course because Upanishads have been my passion, and this is something which is the happiest thing that I like to pursue. Reading Upanishads, understanding them, talking about them, teaching them. So, Upanishad is something which is very close to my heart. So, welcome everybody. I see that's a very good number of participants today. I'm seeing 70, 71 people. So, this is a wonderful thing. And just excuse my voice today, but I'll try to reach you as much as I can. And okay, so the course name is Introduction to Upanishads, Part 1. Part 1 because we also have a Part 2. And very quickly, after the Part 2, we would also try to come up with Part 3. So the main intention is to introduce everybody to this tremendous wisdom that we have in Upanishads, and which is the foundation of Sanatan Dharma, which is not just Sanatan Dharma, but I would say Hindu civilization, and which is strength of our country, that is Bharat. So I wish that Upanishads are taught in schools and they are taught in colleges, and we all really get to know them at a very early age, so that the whole personality of the individuals, of the society and the country can really be so strong, happy and impactful in the world. Apart from personal benefits, Upanishads are one thing that if we pursue as a nation, as a country, um, in the true sense, that will take us a long way, impacting the whole of humanity, because that strength is there in Upanishads, in the philosophy of Upanishads. So, this course basically, as part one, will deal with 6 Upanishads: Isha, Kena, Katha, Prashna, Munda, Mandukya. These are the first ones. The second part will have Aitareya, Taittiriya, Chandogya, Bruhadaranyaka, and Shvetashveta. So, Chandogya and Bruhadaranyaka are huge and big Upanishads. So, in the second part, we cover 5 Upanishads. And there are some Upanishads which are not so very known, but they are very, I mean, they are really good, which one should read. So, bunch of other Upanishads will come in part 3 Upanishads. Okay, so this is about the basic thing. Now, most of you have taken other HUA courses. Some of you might have taken my courses, Introduction to Shad Darshan, and you are well acquainted. Some of you will be, I assume, very new to the topic and absolutely interested, and wanting to know what Upanishads are. So we have a mixed group of people in front of us who have already entered into this journey, who are new to the journey, and that is always amazing because these classes are interactive and lot of discussions happen, and that is a real way of getting knowledge. So welcome to this journey of interaction and knowing from each other. uh, First question I would like to ask is something, why philosophy? Why spirituality? Why Adhyatma? Why Indian philosophy? Why Hindu philosophy? And why Vedanta? Okay, so this is a very important question. Anybody Just let me know. Are my students also there in today's webinar? You can just put it in the Q&A. And at the end of the webinar, probably you can share some of your thoughts. Um, yes. So we can look into that later. Okay. So continuing with the topic, um, the very first question that we all must ask ourselves, and mostly because you are here, it always happens that this question keeps with us in our background, in the mind, and we need to find answer to that. And people who don't have questions, that is something to be worked upon, because we need to have questions. Otherwise what happens is, we keep living our life, um, and then these days they say go with the flow. Okay. What is flow? Punarapi janmam punarapi maranam punarapi janani jఠरे शयनम. Shankaracharya in one of his sutras said this: Punarapi janmam, punarapi maranam. Again and again I take birth, again and again I die. Punarapi janani jఠरे शयनम. Again and again I am in the womb of my mother and I take birth. And this process continues. It continues like the grass that is there on the lands. It grows and then again it dies. The seeds fall down. Again it regrows. But what is the purpose of this life? What is the purpose that I'm here? What is the purpose that um, I'm paying such a big cost, isn't it? Is it that I'm always happy? Is it not that I'm searching something? Does it happen that I get really tired of this life? Or is it that I'm looking towards something which is still yet to come, which will bring happiness? So these are all our experiences, and it is our right to find answers to these questions. And this quest is philosophy. This is Tattva Jnana. Tattva is the basic principle, and Jnana is knowledge of the basics. And therefore, we need to have basic questions. And that is something which Upanishads are dealing with. Like the first question, who am I? We sometimes, how can we just assume that when we were born and our parents decided, okay, so this is Kalika, and I should assume that I am Kalika, and I should continue and stick to my identity till my death, and still continue to think, oh, even if I die, people should remember Kalika. But who is Kalika? This is a name assigned to me, to my body, to my personality, which I adopt as myself and I continue. But is there something behind that? Who was born? What is behind that? Who am I really? What is my existence? What is my identity? This is something which is the basic question that we need to ask ourselves. Sometimes people say, oh, I'm too young, I am busy with so many things, why do I get into all these questions? Later on, when I'm little old, when my body is not working properly, when I cannot sit properly in any of the asanas, and then probably I'll think of philosophy later on. So Upanishads tell us that our body, our life is the lab. If we have to experiment with our life, if we have to experiment with our understanding, if we have to understand that, we need to have a theory, isn't it? Any experiment without theory cannot be performed. We need to have a manual, a theory. So Upanishad is that. And earlier the better we get into it. Later on we feel that, I should have learned this long back, but never late. I mean, then never. That is what it is said. So, to understand this basic question, who am I? This is the fundamental question that is dealt in Upanishads. So that therefore it is called as Moksha Vidya. It is called as the ultimate science. And all the Upanishads have amazing discussions around this topic. The second question which comes to our mind is, where from I come? Okay, I come from the womb of my mother. But how did I come there? Who am I? And from where do I come? Is my journey just begin, or is it continuation of something? This is the main question that comes to our mind. And automatically, the next question follows is, what happens after death? So I am born and I die. Everything in this world comes into creation and it withers away. So, in short, everything has an expiry date. So, if I'm coming with an expiry date, is my existence just a limited existence between a start point and an end point? Is my life just a segment? Or there is something which is beyond it? There is something which is after it also. And this is a beautiful question which comes in Kathopanishad. Young Nachiketa is asking the god of death, Yama, tell me what happens after death. It's a very beautiful story, and I'm sure most of you must be aware of it. But the understanding of this story, analysis of this story, really brings joy and a lot of knowledge to us. So, such kind of discussions are happening. And then the next question is, what should I do? Is the third question which often comes to our mind. Should I do this or should I not do this? What is the parameter to decide what is right and what is wrong? What is the parameter to decide what is it that I should do and I should not do, and why? So all these questions are around the theory of rebirth, theory of karma, and that is also there in Upanishads, which is discussed at length. So all regarding our actions basically. So it could be the karma siddhanta, it can be nishkama karma, it could be about shreyas and prayas. So these are different understandings about what is my action and what am I to do. Now the next question which comes in is, what is the purpose of my life? What is the meaning of life? I'm born, I go to school, then I go to college, I do the needful things to get into a good college. Then, as am about to finish my academical things, now need a life partner. So there is a big search in that. And isn't it funny, like we don't know who I am, and then we are trying to search somebody whom we feel will complete us and bring a complete feeling of wholeness. That's a different topic altogether. But the main thing regarding Upanishads is, unless and until I don't know who I am, I should not know what am I searching. So without knowing, like somebody comes into your room and starts searching things, and you're sitting there, and then you want to know that, tell me what is it that you want. The person says, wait, let me search. Another 5 minutes, and then you might get irritated. Tell me what is it that you are searching. Is it not something like our life that we are doing? We search in relations, we search in achievements, we search in people, we search everywhere. So this is what Upanishads are also throwing light on. What is the purpose of life? What are the goals of life? So these questions are discussed. And last but not least, how to achieve. If I know something, how to achieve things, and how do I reach there? And there comes the path. So what path? So it can be explained in terms of bhakti, it can be explained in terms of yoga, it can be explained in terms of knowledge. So the whole process of philosophical understanding and bringing it into our life is about Upanishads. That is the Upanishadic journey. This is not an armchair thinking. Somebody would say that, okay, let me sit now, I have lot of time, let me read Upanishads. We will not understand them. How much ever you try, how much ever we listen to people, how much ever we read, because Upanishadic knowledge is experimental, it is practical. So I would suggest that even if you join Upanishadic class, or even if you don't join, even if you are studying it on your own, this element of practicality should not be avoided. It should start with self quest, it should start with self observation, it should start with self experience, and then Upanishads will reveal. And this revealing is the important source of knowledge according to Upanishads. Typically, there are different sources of knowledge in epistemology. Like it is perception is the first one, then comes logic, then comes intuition. And Vedanta actually believes in six pramanas, or the six sources of knowledge. So there are different sources of knowledge. But regarding Upanishads, we say that they are Shrutis. Shrutis is Shruta. Shruta is revealed. So Upanishads are revealed. Why? Because they are part of Ved. Ved is the ancient literature of our culture, and it goes back to thousands of years, though some scholars take it very close to 1500 BC, something like that. But as you all know by now that a lot of study has been done, and it goes for thousands of years back. And they say that it is revealed. Apaurusheya. It is also called as Apaurusheya. That is, it is not human. It is beyond human. It is something which humans cannot create. It is ultimate. Okay. So it is called Sanatana, which is timeless. It is not, it cannot be restricted. Why it is so? Because reality, if it is there, it has to be now, here, within me. It should not be somewhere external. That is what Upanishads believe. So it has to reveal to me. I should have the ability to understand it. Is it possible that I am going to study something, but I will not be able, I don't have the capacity? That is not the fact. Upanishads say that every single being has the capacity to realize, to understand, to experiment, and experience the reality, because it is within us. We are reality. Aham Brahmasmi. That is the main concept of Upanishads. So it is revealed. Now let us see how the tradition goes. As you all know, there are four Veds: Atharva Ved, Sama Ved, Rug Ved, and Yajur Ved. Now, from this four Ved, there are usually they have four components: Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, and Upanishad. So, Upanishad are the later part of Ved. Later in the sense, time-wise also it can be, but most importantly, philosophically, it is the pinnacle of knowledge. So Vedas are like encyclopedias. They have knowledge of everything under the sun. So it starts from architecture to Ayurveda. Take any section of knowledge, and it is referred in Vedas. There is a lot of studies and so many mantras which talk about this. But when it comes to philosophy, that is called as Upanishads. So these Upanishads come from different Veds. So it can be from Yajurved, Samaved, Atharved. They are philosophical sections. So from that perspective, they are Vedanta. So earlier, if you want to be an acharya, you have to study this Prasthanatrayi. That is three things. Vedanta, if we really want to study, first thing is Upanishad, second is Brahma Sutra, and third is Bhagavad Gita. So once we study all these three, we enter into the field of Vedanta. I wouldn't say we master Vedanta, we enter into it. We master only when we experience what Vedanta is saying. So that was the level of masters in earlier time. And but nothing to feel sad, because even today the reality exists. And yes, 1500 BC dictated by Europeans. I know that. That's why I don't believe in that. I'm saying the tradition is thousands of years back, and we need to be confident about that, because it has been a civilization which was throughout this globe. And yes, so that's a different topic. I wouldn't get into that. But coming back to the main topic is, uh, Upanishads basically are Vedantic part of Ved. So it talks about philosophy and how they are discussions. They are Shruti basically. So they are discussions. In the forest, there are different gurukuls, and there are different teachers, and there are students who sit together. They ask questions. It's a very beautiful scenario. Like in Shveta Upanishad, they say there are sages sitting together, and they say, Kim Karanam Brahma Kutasmajata Jiva Makena Vachasam Pratishtha. So from where do I come? Where do I go? How are we formed? Several questions of these types are asked. And then ultimately, very beautifully, it is said that after a lot of discussion, they wanted to find reality. So what did they do? They dhyana yoga anugata. They went into meditation. So that is a methodology which is put forth by Upanishads, where you can experience yourself. We can experience ourselves to its core. Because if reality is one, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, if everything is Brahma, if everything is divine, if everything is Ishwar, as Isha Upanishad says, Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat, everything is enveloped by Ishwar. Nothing remains other than Ishwar. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, everything is Brahman. When this concept comes in, one has to be confident enough to understand that this divinity is within me. I am part of it. And I have the ability, and we need to find our ability to experience this. So, this is a journey of transformation. This is a journey of transcendence. This is a journey from finitude to infinity. Asatoma sadgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mrutyurma amrutam gamaya. So, this is, do not think yourself as being finite. Do not think yourself as you are limited. Do not confine your identity to your mind, body, intellect. It is much, much bigger than that. And that is very beautifully explained in every Upanishad. So these beautiful dialogues, they come up with interesting stories, interesting discussions, and questions. So the course that we are going to have will be of selected verses from Upanishads because they are huge and they are big. We cannot discuss every single mantra from Upanishads, I would say shlok. So we will choose a few selected ones and we will discuss. But we will take care of the major philosophical concepts which are explained in that particular Upanishad. So that way, we will get an idea of what Ishavasya Upanishad is saying, what Kena Upanishad is saying. So this can be a journey, beginning of a journey. So the name of the course is Introduction to Upanishads. Believe me, this is an introduction because in 11 weeks we are going to study 6 Upanishads. Frankly, we can study one Upanishad for a year. So that is the depth, or maybe even more than that. But for us to have an idea, to have a taste of what Upanishads are saying, and to get motivated to begin this journey, this is Introduction to Upanishads. But believe me, we will discuss all the major concepts that are coming in the Upanishads. And I think this is from my side. I'm open to discussion. So if you want to ask any questions, feel free to ask and I can take them up. Anything
Thank
about the course, about the topic, feel free to ask.
Thank you, Kalika ji.
Thank you.
It was an absolutely beautiful presentation. And yes, we do have certain questions in the Q&A box.
Thank you.
So we can, you can start taking the questions.
You want me to open the Q&A?
No, I will read the questions to you.
Okay.
Okay. Vinay Bagareji is asking, are there any books that you recommend to understand this topic?
Okay. So for the course, we do have some books and those will be given to you when the course begins. We will put it on the LMS. We have a learning system, which is LMS, and we do give reference books. We will recommend some translations. If you are very well versed with Sanskrit, then probably Gita Press Gorakhpur editions are very nice. They come in original Sanskrit and they have translations in all vernacular languages in India. Hindi, Marathi, Telugu, Tamil, and all those translations are available. If you're comfortable with that, enjoy that. Don't go to English translations, and that really helps. But if you want English translations, there are some good books, and we will tell that.
Shina Gray, I hope I'm pronouncing the name correct. Is it possible that when you die, your spirit can find your way back to the mother womb? I believe there is a soul in me.
Yes, that's good. So we will be discussing about this, about the theory of rebirth. What is rebirth? Very elaborately, the Upanishads have discussed this. Yes.
And Sophia Pedoshi is asking, which translations of the Upanishads would you recommend for someone who knows little Sanskrit?
Okay. But you want English translation? In that case, give me a second. Uh, okay. So there is this book, The Principal Upanishads by Swami Nikhilananda. This is a little for those who are not so good in Sanskrit, but it's a good book. Then for original text and translations, you can refer to The Principal Upanishads by Swami Shivananda. Then The Principal Upanishads by Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. Now, while you read all these books, okay, so try to understand that these books were written at a time when there was a colonial impact. So you will have to take each translation with a pinch of salt. So the Aryan theory, and then the concept of how do you understand how old is this tradition. So there can be different thoughts. You might not agree with them. That's absolutely fine. But when we are studying Upanishads, try to see if that book is giving good philosophical understanding, closer to the original ones. So I will tell you, take it with a pinch of salt. There are certain thoughts which will come in the introduction, in the preface, in some conclusions. Ignore that. Focus only on the philosophical concepts, and these books are helpful. So that is by Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. Then Swami Prabhavananda and Frederick Manchester, they also have a book, The Upanishads. And this is a good book, 112 Upanishads by K.L. Joshi, O.N. Bimali, and Bindya Trivedi. So yes, apparently there's more I can tell once we start the course. Uh, Another question.
Okay, shall we take the next question?
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
So Ramesh Joshi ji is asking how human beings have multiplied and many other forms of life have vanished without new ones being born.
That's a very good question, I think, but that can be answered in the class. It will take long time. So while we are discussing about theory of karma and rebirth, such discussions are happening. So yeah, we can discuss that.
And Amitesh ji is asking, is Upanishad really part of the Vedas? Wait.
Yes, yes, they are part of it.
And it's not the full name, but Jaypati ji is asking, what are the 6 Upanishads in part 1? What are the Upanishads you'll be teaching in part 1?
6 Upanishads are Isha, Ishavasya Upanishad, Kena, Kena Upanishad, Katha, Kathopanishad, Prashna, Prashnopanishad, Munda, Mundakopanishad, Mandukya is Mandukya Upanishad. These 6 will be there in part 1.
Then we have J.K. Malpani ji. He's asking, how should we, or how should a novice approach Gita, Vedas, Upanishads, or a different sequence? I
Uh,
believe
I
I've
would
heard this.
say to start with Bhagavad Gita is always good, but do not constrain yourself if you haven't gone through Bhagavad Gita. Even Upanishads are equally interesting, and they are not so difficult. Okay. In fact, it's like sitting with the teacher, and the teacher is telling you through stories. So okay, so it has a different pattern as compared to Shad Darshan. Darshan Shastra as it comes. Okay. So, yeah, I missed this point. I'll just tell you. So, it starts with Ved, Upanishads. These are Shruti. And then we come to Shad Darshan. That is the Nyaya, Sankhya, Mimamsa, Yog, Purva Mimamsa, Uttar Mimamsa. So, these are different schools of philosophy. So, they are consolidated thoughts which originate in Upanishads, but they focus on different areas. So they are called as Shastra. Then there is Ramayana and Mahabharata, which comes as Smruti Grantha. They are called Smruti, memory. So, and the Puranas. So they also have similar philosophical thoughts in them, but they are explained in the form of itihasa, they are explained in the form of stories. So that is a different way of understanding. So Upanishads are, it's an old Sanskrit, so people feel that it is difficult, but they are very interesting. You can always start with Upanishads.
Okay. Kalikaji, now Diksha Shuklaji is asking, what is the self according to the Upanishads?
Okay. So in Upanishads, basically they talk about Brahman. Now, the translation of Brahman as consciousness is not appropriate, though we don't have any other word. There are many Sanskrit words which do not have parallel English words, and which is absolutely fine because it's a different culture. So in HUA, we try to use the original concepts, but sometimes we have to use other words, but we just take care of it. Now, what is self? There is a concept of Brahman, then there is a concept of Jiva. So, Jiva is understood as, or which is also referred to as Atman. So, Atman and Paramatman, when they say like that, then Atman is Jiva. Sometimes they say Atman to Brahman. So, it depends on the reference, how it is coming and what they are discussing. But the hierarchy is like the cosmic self, or I would say the cosmic reality. Inappropriate words to explain Brahman, but Brahman is considered to be the ultimate reality, and Atman is considered to be the individual reality or Jiva as it is. So, the concept of self as it comes from Western philosophy or English language, it has a different connotation. So, here we talk in terms of Jiva and Paramatma, Atman and Paramatma. But when we say self, Taittiriya Upanishad has a beautiful concept of Panchakosha. And they say that we exist on 5 realms. That is a very interesting topic which comes in part 2. So it says that we live in Annamaya Kosha, that is the food, that is everything that is created by food, and that is the bodily existence. Then they talk of Pranamaya Kosha, that is the energy level. Then Manomaya Kosha, that is the mind level. Vijnanamaya Kosha, about the intellect and the buddhi that is there. And then Anandamaya Kosh. And then the realities beyond that. So that discussion is also very interesting. So self, according to Upanishadic philosophy, has a very beautiful and wider meaning. Yeah.
Balaji is asking, are there any exams or tests we have to take and pass if we take the course?
Yes. So at the end of the course, you are expected to write an essay of 1500 to 2000 words, and that is graded. So 50% is for your attendance and 50% is for your final assessment, that is this essay. That is only one exam that you have.
And K. Shukaji is asking how to realize functional aspects of Upanishad.
Okay. Functional aspects of Upanishads
Yeah.
in terms of behavior and understanding or social implications. Can you clarify what is it
Can
exactly?
you please clarify, Shukaji?
Because functional aspects are many. A separate webinar can be okay.
Behavior. He's saying
Behavior.
behavior.
Okay. Of course, I would, what is the takeaway from Upanishads can be a question which can handle this question of functional elements. Okay. So, one simple thing is Anukul Vedanam Sukham, Pratikul Vedanam Dukham. That is how Sukha and Dukha, happiness and sorrow, is defined. Anukul Vedanam, that which is according to my expectations, is Sukha. Pratikul Vedanam is something which is against my expectations. And our life is something which is on the, it's moving like a pendulum from sukha to dukkha, from sorrow to happiness. It keeps moving. How to stabilize that is the takeaway from Upanishads. How do we understand what is sukha? How do we understand what is dukkha? and then how to overcome this. So dukkha nivrutti is one of the major goals of Upanishads, and then the following darshanas that come in the later part. So we have to realize what aspects we are uneasy. It's not necessary that every time we have to be sad, but this uneasiness that we experience in our existence needs to be settled. This experience of equanimity is something which can be understood in a better way from Upanishads, and we can start our journey to experience that. That is the main thing. And then behavior is the reflection of what we think about ourselves. So if we are happy, if we are calm, we are less irritated, we love people more, and we are undisturbed. It's the Sita Prajna concept, which is elaborately discussed in Bhagavad Gita. So that is the functional aspect. And if one individual is happy, calm, and satisfied, that itself is a big thing in the world. And if many individuals are on the same path, then the life should be better, world should be a better place to live.
Kalika ji, before we move on to the next question, I would like to take this question. I mean, some people are asking about the registration process.
Yes, please.
I will post the link here in the chat box. All of you can go. This is the course link. So, the course will be completely online, 11 sessions and live interactive Zoom sessions. And in case you are not able to attend a class or two, we will have the video recordings available to all the students registered for the class. And if you are going to miss a class, please do let Kalika ji know, and also the support staff, so that we do not, we are able to say, note your attendance, basically. And the payments are done online. The course fee would be $300. And you all can start registering if you want to now. In case you have any questions, you may ask right away, or if you want to ask the questions later, I will also write email ID here. You can send emails to this ID. All right. And Gopalji, Kalikaji, he's asking, it is stated that dharmic philosophy is experiential. Yet it speaks about what happens before birth and after death. How can these issues be from experience? If, on the other hand, they are speculation, then what is the purpose of such a hypothesis?
Okay. See, when we go to a hypnotherapist, and what do we expect from him? That, he tells us about our past lives. And then based on that, we try to figure out who I am. Okay. So even if you understand your 10 lives, 15 lives, 20 lives, tatah kim, what next? That is the main question. So Upanishads, basically, they are not dealing like a hypnotherapist. They don't talk like that. They are talking about the present tense. And once we learn to be in present tense, once we learn to experience ourselves as we are without any attributes in the present tense, that itself is the experience of reality. Then understanding about birth and rebirth and death is a side effect, I would say. Okay. So once we realize that our existence is continuous without any break, that itself gives us an understanding of death. That death is not a full stop. Death is not the end of it. It can be a pause button, which, is just for the timeline, and then it continues. But what I would suggest is, if you are really interested into experimenting and getting the knowledge directly, start the path with actual meditation and experiencing it. Parallelly, keep reading Upanishads. So what happens? Whatever is told in Upanishads, we keep relating to it to our experiences, and that way we move ahead fast. If we just keep reading them, then what happens is analysis is good and logic is also good, but it has limits. As a source of knowledge, logic has limit, analysis has limit. Beyond that, experience is something which Upanishads say are important. So vitti dhyana yoganugata, when I go deep into myself and I realize that, okay, I am not just my feelings, they are my creations. When I go still deeper, I say, okay, I am not just my thought structures, I have created them. Then who has created? What is the hard problem of consciousness these days going in neurosciences? How do I experience this first hand experience that I am experiencing? I am experiencing, not my experience. I am the creator. I am not my creation. So their problem is because they are trying to figure out how come this material world is creating something like consciousness. So that's a hard problem for them. When it comes to Indian philosophy, they are saying everything is basically consciousness. And then whatever we say as jada or whatever we say as matter is just a form. It's a different form. So what is primary, consciousness or matter? That is a distinction between two types of thinking. So experiential in this sense, if see anything is anybody says we need to experience it, I learned my spirituality and Vedanta initially from my father, who is a yogic person. He always gave me an understand. Academic philosophy came to me later because that was my choice. I thought, let me get deeper into it. But when it comes to experiencing, we need to be absolutely sincere and honest and go deep into ourselves and see how it is relating to me. And if I am doing meditation, is it reflecting in my behavior, in my understanding, in my composure, in my experience of myself? That way, it is experimental. And in the process, understanding about life and death happens. That is not the goal of Upanishads. The goal of Upanishads is moksha. It is called moksha dharmi. Yeah, if I have answered your question.
Yeah. So Sophia has asked, she's writing that I had studied a lot Hindu studies, yet I would like to know how would you explain on what Upanishads is all about for the general public. Please note, I do not refer to the word Upanishads itself. I refer only to the core tenets and core overall summarizing, something like that, similar to what we translator call summary.
Okay. Good question, actually. Gopalji also had asked a very nice question. Sophia, I liked your question. See, there is a lot of studies going on, which we call as Hindu studies. Now we have to understand that Upanishads are the basis of all Hindu studies that explain what is the goal of human life, what is the purpose of human life, what is the nature of myself. Now, I would say all rituals in Hinduism, all festivals in Hinduism, everything that comes under the umbrella of Hinduism has to have a support of clean and clear philosophy. And that is what Upanishads give. And personally, I believe that philosophy of Upanishads starts first. It has to be taught to kids right from the school. As they understand with their levels, they will go increasing. But believe me, I have been taking workshops with younger kids as old as 5 years old, and they are quick in learning meditation. They are quick in understanding things because they have less baggages. They don't overthink, and they are very experimental. They immediately whatever they learn, they try to bring in their behavior, and then as we grow we forget this ability. We just keep storing things without application. So I would say, for public, for India as a country, and for everybody globally, I would say that philosophy is quest into our own self. So unless and until we don't understand this, we will we will be dying as consumers, and that is a sad thing. These days we just consume. We consume food, we consume entertainment, we consume thoughts, we keep consuming things without creating, without seeing who is the consumer. Bhokta, that comes in Upanishads, who is that? If that is understood, then I think world can be, though it can be an utopian concept, but world will be a better place to live. Yeah.
So majority is asking for the web address for Gorakhpur, I think Gita Press establishment to order books from USA.
Okay. How do I share it
Can
now?
we give it to, okay, if you have it, you can share it now, else we can do it later also.
Yeah. Actually, I don't have it now, but just Google Gita Press Gorakhpur, and you will get all its publications.
I think that's just one website, right? And from
Yeah,
there you can
yeah.
order worldwide,
Yes,
wherever
yes.
you want.
Why I'm saying Gita Press Gorakhpur? Because see, there are different kinds of interpretations of Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads. Somebody will interpret it from the Ramanujacharya perspective. Somebody will do it from Madhvacharya perspective, from the Bhakti orientation. Somebody will do it from the Yoga orientation. There are different ways of reaching the same goal. But Gita Press Gorakhpur, they translate the original Sanskrit detail. They give a detailed translation, and then they try to stick to the original meaning without getting influenced by any of the traditions. I wouldn't say 100%, but yes, that is a most it's a better source available so far. Please don't
Angelica
forget my
ji,
questions. Sophia, which question you're telling?
we just answered her one of the
Yeah, we
questions.
just answered one of the question.
So we are taking it sequence by
Okay.
sequence. It's like
So yes,
before
Abhijit
Hina.
Desai is asking a question.
Okay, okay. So would you like to answer that first?
No, he's saying all online are payments in USD or
Yeah,
INR.
that's why I addressed the
Hmm.
registration question.
Yes.
So all I've shared the registration link, and we have
Can
a
we?
question from Hina Bhatt.
Huh.
Is Atma Paramatma same as Brahma, Par Brahma, Par Brahma?
Uh, okay. So it's a detailed question actually, but apparently I would say Brahma is the deity. Okay. Parabrahma is different. Brahman is different. So when you just say Brahma, it is the Brahma amongst the three deities, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, where Brahma is the deity whose responsible, whose duty is to create things. Then Parabrahman is the Brahman that Upanishads are talking about, ultimate reality. So that's a different understanding. And Atma, Paramatma, when it is said, then it is usually understood as Jivatma and Paramatma, the individual soul and the cosmic soul.
Ramesh Joshi ji is asking, is Dukha in Upanishad same as Buddha talked about?
Yeah, with a slight difference. They have slight difference because Nagarjuna talks about Shunyavad and Shankaracharya talks about Aham Brahmasmi in a different way. So there are different variations. Upanishads have roots of all thoughts. Those are developed in the later darshan shastras. But we can
Okay.
take it in detail if you are in the class. We can surely take it.
And Sophia, again, I know that the word Srishti expresses something much deeper than the word creation, as Christians refer to.
Yes, of
What would
course.
you comment on its subtler meanings as a professional philosopher?
Okay, I'm not a professional philosopher. I'm a student of philosophy. And coming to this word, do you mean to say Srushti or Shruti? If you're talking about Srushti, Srushti is much deeper than creation. Because then in that case, we will have to also understand the Sankhya concept of Purusha Prakriti is there. Then in Aitareya Upanishad, they are talking about, how this whole world came into being, how this was expressed. Very beautiful discussion is there in Aitareya Upanishad in the beginning. So, see, we don't have parallel words for everything in English. So, we refer to it as creation, but things have a different connotation in Sanskrit.
So, someone in our guest list goes by the name Fire Tablet. I do not have the name here. So, and the question I would say is incomplete if I go to India on January 16th. So,
Okay, good. If you can try and get the Gorakhpur books over there, that trip can be beneficial.
okay, is it for the Gorakhpur books? Okay. Sophia is asking, can I contact you for discussing on Upanishads?
Sure, you can contact me, but I would be glad if you come and join our course. Then we will have 11 weeks to discuss because every class we discuss a lot. So, yeah, you can contact me on my HUA email. But I would prefer you to come join the class, and yeah, that would be a good discussion.
He is asking, when does the course start? The course begins on January 19th. It begins on January 19th.
Please check questions in the chat. Uh, okay, chat is pretty long. It really helps if you put your questions on the
Yes, in the
beginning.
Q&A, we can take, questions one after the other.
Yes.
Dr. Jayanti Brescia, how to apply knowledge of Upanishad in day-to-day life practically? Can we get small tips in each?
Yes, yes. If you join the class, it's a very good class. Are any of my students here who have done the Upanishadic class earlier? They can come on the this thing.
Yeah, please
They can
raise
talk.
your hand or
Yeah, you can raise your hand. They can share their experiences. Sometimes, the classes they go on for 2 hours, 2.5 hours because people want to discuss, and I don't discourage that. Though I complete my class in first 90 minutes for whatever I have brought in, but there is amazing discussions going on.
while we wait for someone to come and speak, Kalika ji, I would just
Yes.
like to add to what you're saying. I've been contacting students, whoever has taken courses, and that is how I'm saying that Kalika ji's courses, both Shaddarshanas and Intro to Upanishads, they are one of the most liked courses that we offer at HUA. People are students have nothing but good things to say about her courses. They are, and the best part is that, I think Kalika ji will agree to this, that students, the fulfillment that a student feels after taking a course, even if, a little bit of initiation into philosophy or Hindu philosophy, that really, it makes me happy to hear that. I'm sure she would be over the
I'm
moon
glad
on.
to hear that. Yes, thank you so much. I'm really glad to hear that people are liking it. But friends, that's not my credit. It is the philosophy of Upanishads, which brings so much of enrichment. And as she
Yes.
very nicely said, that fulfillment, it's that knowledge which creates that. I think the serotonin is created because we are understanding a very positive, universal, and a strong philosophy, which is so inclusive. It includes everything. There's everything for everybody. Nobody is excluded. It's vyapak is the right Sanskrit word. Even global doesn't help it, but vyapak is vyapti. Our existence is expanded to unlimited thing. What we normally believe ourselves to be is a confined creature. But imagine that release when we feel that no, I'm not confined, I'm divine, I'm all pervading, I'm part of that. That's so nice. So that is something which people are happy about. I'm just a nimitta, just a student of philosophy. I learned from good people, I'm just trying to pass it on.
And one more question, Kalika ji. What is the difference between Ishvara, Bhagwan, and Brahman? Manmohan Ganguly ji is asking.
Okay. Okay. So when you talk about Ishavasya Upanishad, Ishvara, Ishavasyam idam sarvam, that is similar to what we call as Brahman. So it is similar. The Isha Tattva, which is there in everything. So now we can discuss it in detail later. And Bhagavan, again, the concept of God, the Abrahamic religions have a different understanding of the concept of God. Even in the Shad Darshanas, if you are part of that, or later on you can be part of that, it is very interesting. The Charvaks, the heterodox system, they deny existence of God. And Nayayikas, they give 5 proofs for the existence of God. Vaisheshiks believe in God. Purva Mimamsa does not believe in Ishvara, they believe in deities. Sankhya don't believe in God. Yoga believes because therefore it is called Seshwar Sankhya, that is Sankhya with God. So there are different shades to these things. So Bhagavan is a word which is typically used as a deity, as a god who is a controller, who is the you know mm, all pervading. But Brahman is a different concept. Even Ishvara comes in different meaning, but originally it is like what it is said in Ishavasya Upanishad, Isha Tattva. that which governs it. It comes from the it dhatu, or the, what you can say, from it comes isha. Okay, so that which is governing. Now, who is the governor? Governor, not like a puppeteer who is manipulating everything. It is beyond that. The ultimate reality. That is Ishwar, that is Brahman. Bhagwan term is used either ways.
And we have Abhijit ji asking you, I have generally seen variations in Sanskrit words between Gita Press and other publications, especially publications from Maharashtra like Patbhed.
Mathbet, yeah, there can be.
Patbhed, okay.
Yeah. There can be some differences. So if you want to follow that, you can always do that. I'm not just saying that Gita Press is the only thing. There are so many other interpretations and translations available. We
And
have a little bit of Advaitic influence Gita Press will have. So keep that in mind. Though it is not fully influenced, but yes, 90-95% they stick to it. And once you know the Shad Darshan, once you know how the influence is coming, then we can understand a particular thing, keeping the influence away. It's not that always we will be influenced by the influential translations. Sometimes when the concepts are very clear, we are also able to see clearly, like, okay, this is an influential interpretation, and then we can keep it away. So that comes in the process.
I think we have
I being a part of Hindu. What about Ayurvedic practitioner? Sorry, I'm not able to understand this question. Can you reframe it? Yeah, I can reframe it maybe.
Samajwal ji is asking, Hindus are confined in Shruti. Is HUA considering physical classes semester long? The Middle Eastern god is a man looking like Adam, the fundamental difference.
In-person classes, eventually they will come, but currently,
Yes.
yeah.
Currently, no, Samajwal ji, we are completely online. And Manmohan ji again, Kalika ji, does following Advaita means we have to reject Karma Kanda?
Following the?
Advaita means we have to reject Karma Kanda.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to. Shankaracharya has written Bhakti Sutra also, Bhakti Stotra also. Bhaja Govindam, that is what Shankaracharya has written. So, Advait philosophy to be understood is like you don't have to negate anything. You don't have to, Shankaracharya talks about three levels: Paramarthik level, Pratibhasik level, and Vyavaharik level. So, we live on these three levels. This is Advait Vedanta. So, if you are following something as a Vyavaharik, and then if you are believing in something that is like deities, which is on the Pratibhasik, and then if you are also believing in Brahman, which is Paramarthik, it's absolutely fine.
I think what Shinaji is asking is Ayurveda a part of Hindu studies?
Yes, it is. It is. It is part of Atharva Veda. And later on it developed, yeah.
Is there a recommended age group to join the course? Can kids join? No.
Yes.
You can talk about your Gita course, Kalika ji, if you
Yes. We have a growing up with Gita course, which is for the middle schoolers and for the high schoolers. I'm taking that course. And for the middle schoolers, they are as young as 10 years old to 14, I think, 14, 15, and then, or even 13, I think. And then the high schoolers start till the age 25. So that's also an interesting course to begin with for the kids. And then I think eventually we'll come up with the Upanishadic understanding for kids also. Yes.
I think we can take one more question, Kalika ji. One last question.
Yes.
Any plans of longer classes for each Upanishad?
Yes, we do have. So many of my earlier students have also recommended. So eventually I plan to take a course on one single Upanishad, and we'll be coming up with that probably next year.
And one more, I think this is for a registration purpose. The course would be 11 weeks long. And
Actually, Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Sophia is saying, would you accept my invitation to discuss on Upanishads? If you can just share my email, HUA
Yeah,
email.
yeah. I will ask her to write to me
Yeah.
and I will forward that email to you. So she can go ahead and
Sure.
do that.
Sure.
And just for everybody's information, the course would be 11 weeks long, starting on 19th of January. It ends on March. That would be 29th March. The duration is 1.5 hours, 9 to 10:30 p.m. Eastern. But as she said, the discussions may go on a little longer. Depends on how many questions the students
If you
have.
want to leave the class after a time,
Yeah.
because sometimes for the Eastern zone it becomes really late.
Yeah.
So no worries, you can
Yeah.
always leave and see the recordings later on of what the discussion was going on. And if you can continue, then sometimes they extend a little bit. Yeah.
So this is, and it is every Friday. Yeah,
Every
every
Friday.
Friday for
Yes.
11 weeks. The
Yes.
same time, the course recordings will be made available to all students who register. And I would recommend, after, hearing a lot from all the students, that if you want to know more about Upanishads and Hindu philosophy, you must join the course.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We
Okay.
will be sending you all a follow-up email as well. And any questions, you can respond to the
Yeah,
email.
feel free.
Okay?
And thank you, everybody. It was nice talking to you all. And I'm looking forward to see you in the class. And come to the class, have discussions, let us learn together. And it's a wonderful experience. That is something which I can guarantee. And my focus is more on application, it's more on bringing it into our life, because it should become part of our life, part of our identity. Then we start loving it, and unless and until we love it, we don't accept it, and we don't, stay with it. So that is my intention, that we should start loving Upanishads, we should start loving this philosophy, we should start loving ourselves in the true sense. What do I mean? I will discuss it in the class. See you then. Yeah, thank you so much. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste,
Thank you
Kalika
so
ji.
much for wonderfully handling the whole webinar.
You're
It was
welcome.
really
Thank you
great.
so much.
Yes.
Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.